You might remember a few months back when this article was published on Screen Rant. Star Wars, new canon keeps making Yoda even more of a failure. Yoda is famously one of the Jedi's most famous masters, but the changes he made to the High Republic era Jedi Order resulted in their failure. For most of us fans, this went over about as well as a turd that just won't go away.
Come on, flush, you bastard.
We don't exactly trust Disney Star Wars after Luke was turned into a deranged old hermit, Han was turned into a deadbeat dad, and Leia was turned into Mary freaking Poppins.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
The main thing is to protect these characters. Make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
You're full of shit.
Oh yeah.
The last thing the fandom wanted was one more of their old heroes turned into a loser, but that was just what we got. If you aren't familiar, this is what it said in the Screen Rant article a few months ago. Jedi Grandmaster Yoda was revered as a wise and powerful, albeit flawed, character in the Star Wars original trilogy, but the more Star Wars has expanded with the prequels, and now the new Star Wars The High Republic multimedia project, it becomes clear just how badly Yoda failed the Jedi Order. The Jedi Order, seen in The High Republic, is quite different from the way they're portrayed in the prequels, and this is largely attributed to Yoda's specific beliefs regarding the Force and the lifestyle of Jedi. Compared to the original timeline, Legends, formerly the Expanded Universe, Yoda is, unfortunately, key to the Jedi Order's failure to prevent the rise of the Galactic Empire and their own near destruction. It seems every chance Disney gets, they try to tear down old characters in some misguided effort to make their new characters look cool. But why? That's like buying a Ferrari, building a shitty bicycle that hardly works, and then busting the Ferrari to pieces in order to make the bike look cooler. Why not just go with the Ferrari? Well, since we're talking about woke SJWs, it all boils down to ideology. They're like a weird religious cult who hurt themselves to prove how pure they are. As shown in Star Wars The High Republic, the canon Jedi Order was quite similar to the Legends era New Jedi Order for a time. The Order allowed attachments, though they didn't encourage them. They were almost completely apolitical, and they stressed the importance of individuality, with each Jedi defining the Force and their connection to it differently. Yoda's personal philosophies and definition of the Force gradually became the standard accepted truths of the Jedi Order during his time as Grandmaster, leading to the Jedi Order of the prequel trilogy. Yoda's Jedi Order was corrupt, complacent, and emotionally unhealthy, which was, unfortunately, exactly what the Sith needed to enact their revenge on the galaxy. Yoda was a kind and well-intentioned individual, but he was too dead set in his specific views and had little interest in allowing his students the individuality and emotional freedom that they needed. I love this bit here. He didn't give his students emotional freedom. Yeah, he's not a kindergarten teacher, or this day and age, a college professor. There are no safe spaces in the Jedi Order, you bloody idiots. The Jedi do not conform to the woke worldview because they, in fact, run contrary to that worldview. This is why Yoda is being tarnished, because they can't possibly allow his philosophy to continue to be revered. He preaches self-discipline, a mindset foreign to these leeches that live to drain the life out of the world around them. I don't even think they do it consciously. I don't think they understand what they're doing. They like Yoda and understand he's a good guy, but he must be framed as incorrect because if SJWs accept that personal responsibility has any bearing on the world around us, then their whole ideology shakes apart at the foundation. Even after the Great Jedi Purge, Yoda nearly failed the Jedi once more. At the end of the Star Wars original trilogy, Yoda tries to convince Luke to kill his father. Had Luke taken this advice, he'd have fallen to the dark side and succeeded Vader, perpetuating the Empire's oppression. Luke ultimately prevailed because he followed his own path, rather than repeating the mistakes of Yoda's Jedi Order, or embracing Palpatine's Sith teachings. That tells us everything we need to know about SJW understanding of Star Wars right there. Yoda never, literally never, told Luke to kill his father. He told him to confront Vader. This interpretation only serves the woke ideology, but everything does for these people. But now they've got new spin to get us to back down and stop calling out their foolishness. They want to confuse us to the point we don't even remember who we are.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
This was recently released on comicbook.com. Star Wars, the High Republic writer explains the importance of young Yoda addresses controversy. Star Wars, the High Republic comic writer Kevin Scott sat down with our Comic Book Nation podcast to explain the importance of young Yoda and address some of the fan controversy surrounding him. The High Republic is set 200 years before the Skywalker saga begins in the Star Wars prequels, a time when Yoda is younger and part of a much bigger and more active Jedi Order. And yet, Yoda's word and presence still carry just as much weight as it always has, a detail that has rekindled debate in the Star Wars fandom about whether Yoda is truly a heroic figure at all. That's a really slippery way of deflecting criticism. According to these people, it's the fans who are debating about whether or not Yoda is even heroic. But the only reason this question came up in the first place is because of that write-up in Screen Rant. Before these lightweights developed the High Republic, Yoda was universally understood to be a beacon of wisdom. This is what happens when untalented ideological hacks start working with material that's too damn good for them. It's what would happen if someone ever asked me to make improvements to the Mona Lisa.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Kevin Scott makes it clear that Yoda is nothing but a revered figure to the creators of Star Wars The High Republic, and that his views of the Jedi Order in Force are as noble as they've always been. I mean, when Yoda talks about life, you know, the Force being a force through nature, through the trees, the rocks, the everything, that's still exactly how the Jedi view the Force, Scott says. It's not so much that it hasn't become like the doctrine of the Order, it's more the fact that, again, different people are interpreting their way to tap into the Force in a different way. But yeah, it's still the idea that the Force is through everything, and it's the energy field that binds everything together within the galaxy and is where a Jedi gets his or her power from by tapping into that.
What the hell are you talking about?
You know how there are some talented thinkers out there who can say something quite provocative in just a couple words? That quote is literally the opposite of that. I've never seen so many words communicate so little to my neural pathways. It's a word salad that does not address the question at hand. how wonderful that someone so bereft of communication skill is writing Star Wars comics that are now considered canon. That said, Cavan Scott also acknowledges that he's seen the online discussion about how Yoda fits into the High Republic. So yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about Yoda online and Yoda's part and the High Republic and the sense that Yoda is somehow to blame for what's happened. But I don't think we've ever said that, and I don't think we ever would, because that's not what we believe. And we spend a lot of time talking about Yoda. Yoda has cast a very long shadow for such a small being, and every time Yoda's in a scene, he's the most important person in that scene. So, we've been very careful how we treated Yoda and tried very much to treat him with respect. This man simply doesn't understand where the criticism comes from. It's almost hilarious. He doesn't understand why the fanbase finds the High Republic crap so repellent. Why we're so distrustful of anything that comes from Disney Star Wars. He's been told that Last Jedi haters were just a small minority of white supremacist man-babies. Surely, the real Star Wars fans will step up and read his material, right?
Where did everybody go?
Before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it.
We're not buying what you're selling, dopes. You can tell us till you're blue in the face that you plan to respect our beloved characters, but we've heard it all before. All the PR spin in the world won't save the franchise. Get rid of the liars, and maybe we'll start believing you.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.